Did you know that some pennies, even those as old as 1949, are worth far more than their face value of just 1 cent? In fact, one specific penny from this year has made headlines by selling for a jaw-dropping price of over $1 million. If you're into coin collecting or simply love learning about rare treasures, you're in for a treat. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1949 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, its history, features, errors, and why it could be worth millions. Let's start with the basics. The Abraham Lincoln penny, first issued in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's centennial birthday, has been a staple of American currency ever since. Over the decades, there have been various versions of the Lincoln penny, each year bringing subtle changes in design and sometimes errors that collectors go crazy for. Now, let's talk about the 1949 penny. The 1949 no-mint mark penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and here's something interesting. The 1949 pennies made without a mint mark are considered the rarest and most valuable. But why? Let's find out. Like all Lincoln pennies, the 1949 version features President Lincoln on the obverse, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The reverse shows the classic depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of the United States' history and strength. But here's the key difference. 1949 pennies produced in Philadelphia didn't have a mint mark. This simple fact is one of the reasons these pennies are so valuable today. Mint marks are typically found on coins to indicate which U.S. mint facility produced them. In 1949, pennies were made at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver and San Francisco pennies both had mint marks, but Philadelphia didn't use one. And that's where the story begins. Since most people don't realize the significance of this, many 1949 no-mint mark pennies were overlooked for years. But once collectors started to catch on, their value skyrocketed. Here's where things get even more exciting. The 1949 no-mint mark penny isn't just rare because of its lack of a mint mark. In some cases, certain pennies from this year also exhibit errors, which can make them even more valuable. For example, some of these pennies have minor flaws in the die, leading to double strikes or other inconsistencies. These imperfections can make a seemingly ordinary penny worth much more. Minting errors are often the golden ticket for serious collectors. A single error could add hundreds or even thousands of dollars to the value of a coin. And when it comes to 1949 no-mint mark pennies, some have been sold at auction for over $1 million, especially if they're in excellent condition and have unique characteristics. So why exactly is the 1949 no-mint mark penny worth millions? First, it's all about rarity. With the Philadelphia Mint producing the majority of pennies in 1949 without any mint mark, collectors started to take notice of how few of these coins were available in perfect condition. Over the years, these pennies have become increasingly harder to find, especially in mint or near-mint condition. In fact, as more collectors entered the market and began hunting for these rare coins, prices climbed higher and higher. The combination of rarity, historical significance, and high collector demand has made the 1949 no-mint mark Lincoln penny a holy grail for serious numismatists. Now you might be wondering, how can you tell if you have one of these precious pennies in your collection? It's simple. Look for the year 1949 on the coin. If there's no mint mark beneath the date, then congratulations, you might just have a rare coin on your hands. But remember, it's the condition of the coin that matters most when determining value. Coins in mint state or with minimal wear and tear will fetch the highest prices. Also, if you happen to find one with a rare error, like a double die or off-center strike, well, that could push your coin's value even higher. Whether you're just starting out in coin collecting or are a seasoned expert, the 1949 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one you'll definitely want to keep an eye out for. Its rarity, historical value, and potential for errors make it one of the most sought-after coins in the numismatic world. So, if you happen to stumble across one in your change or collection, you might be sitting on a small fortune. If you found this video interesting, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more coin collecting tips and information, and let us know in the comments, have you ever found a rare coin? We'd love to hear your stories. 1960 Lincoln Penny. It's not just any ordinary coin. This little gem could be worth a lot more than you think. Stay tuned as we break down its history, unique features, and what makes it so valuable. Let's get started. First, let's take a step back in time and talk about the history of this iconic coin. The Lincoln penny, or the 1-cent coin, has been a staple of American currency since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Over the years, the design has gone through a few changes, but the 1960 is one of the more notable ones in terms of its rarity and potential value. So, what makes the 1960 different from other Lincoln pennies from the same era? Well, it all comes down to the specific features of this coin, which we'll get into in just a moment. But before we do that, let's talk about the minting process. One of the first things any coin collector will look at is the mint mark. The 1960 Lincoln penny has the letter D on the reverse side, just under the 1-cent inscription. The D stands for the Denver Mint, where this penny was produced. Mint marks are important because they help us identify where the coin was made. And let me tell you, this little d makes a huge difference when it comes to value. In 1960, the US Mint produced billions of pennies, but the 1960 D stands out because of the specific way it was struck. This is what leads us to the next part of the story, error coins. Now, let's talk about why the 1960 D is so special, errors. While most coins that come from the mint are struck perfectly, occasionally, a mistake happens. And those mistakes are often what make coins rare and valuable. In 1960, the US Mint was transitioning to a new design for the reverse side of the Lincoln penny. As a result, the 1960 penny saw a shift in the way it was produced, which caused some subtle yet noticeable errors. The most significant error you'll find in these coins is the large date versus small date distinction. You see, there were two different versions of the 1960 penny struck, the large date and the small date. The 1960 penny can sometimes have a small date variety, which is much rarer than the large date variety. The small date variety was produced in fewer numbers, making it much harder to find. And if you have one in mint condition, well, that's where the value comes in. So, why is the 1960 penny worth so much? Well, it all boils down to rarity, condition, and the market demand for these specific coins. A typical 1960 penny, even if it's in good condition, won't fetch a fortune. But if you happen to have one with the small date error, and it's in excellent condition, we're talking about a value that could skyrocket. In fact, a 1960 small date Lincoln penny in perfect, uncirculated condition could be worth anywhere between $10,000 to $25,000, or even more, depending on the grade. And if it's in a pristine, gem-quality state, we're talking about potential six-figure values. Now, the key here is the condition of the coin. A coin that's worn down, scratched, or tarnished won't fetch nearly as much as one that's been well preserved. So, if you have a 1960 small date penny, you'll want to get it professionally graded and check to see how much it's really worth. So, how can you tell if you have a rare 1960 small date Lincoln penny? Here are a few simple steps to help you identify it. Look closely at the numbers in the date. The small date version will have a noticeably smaller 6 and 0 than the large date. Make sure the D mint mark is present. This confirms it was struck in Denver. If you think you've got a rare find, take a close look at its condition. Coins with no signs of wear are the most valuable. If you're unsure whether your coin is a 1960 small date or large date, don't worry. There are plenty of resources and guides available, or you can take it to a coin expert for confirmation. Coins like the 1960 Lincoln penny are a big deal in the world of coin collecting. Why? Because they represent both history and rarity. And when collectors discover a hidden treasure like this, it can lead to some seriously impressive payouts. If you've found a 1960 penny, now is the perfect time to get it appraised. The market for rare coins fluctuates, but people are always on the lookout for high-quality, error-filled coins that have the potential to be worth millions. And hey, who knows? You might just have the next big coin find sitting in your drawer right now. So, there you have it, the 1960 Lincoln penny, with its unique features and the possibility of being worth thousands, or even millions, if you've got the rare small date error. If you think you've got a coin worth checking out, don't wait, get it evaluated today. Who knows, this could be your ticket to a small fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive into rare coins, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more awesome content. And leave a comment down below if you've ever found a rare penny or coin. Let's talk about your finds. 1966 No Mint Mark Penny. This little coin holds a big secret that has captured the attention of collectors and coin enthusiasts alike. But what makes it so special? Stick around to find out how this tiny copper coin could end up in your collection, and maybe even your bank account. Let's get started. Cut to intro graphic with channel name and subscribe button animation. Before we get into why the 1966 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny is worth millions, let's start with the basics. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of American currency since 1909, featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, introduced in 1959. In 1966, like many years before, the U.S. Mint released millions of pennies. But here's where things get interesting. Most of these coins had a mint mark, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. However, in 1966, there was a surprising mystery. Some pennies were struck without a mint mark at all. And that's where the story of the 1966 No Mint Mark penny begins. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is a mint mark? A mint mark is a small letter on coins that indicates which U.S. mint facility produced them. The D stands for the Denver Mint, and S is for the San Francisco Mint. So, when a penny is struck without any mint mark, it raises some serious questions. In most years, it's fairly rare to see a penny without a mint mark. But in 1966, the mystery deepens, as there was a small batch of pennies released without any mark at all, and that's the coin we're going to focus on today. At first glance, this may seem like just an ordinary penny. But experts believe this no mint mark error was caused by a temporary mix-up at the U.S. Mint. Some 1966 pennies were struck at the Denver facility, but the mint mark was accidentally left off. It's a small mistake, but one that turned out to be very valuable. The 1966 no mint mark penny is extremely rare, and that's what makes it so highly sought after by collectors. In fact, it's considered a minting error, which only increases its value. Now the big question, why is this penny worth millions? Well, scarcity is a huge factor. There were only a handful of these no mint mark 1966 pennies minted, and because of that, they are considered incredibly rare. While a regular 1966 penny might only be worth 1 cent, a 1966 penny without the mint mark can fetch a hefty price. As of now, the 1966 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny has been sold for upwards of $1 million. That's right, this tiny error can make you a fortune if you happen to find one. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rare 1966 No Mint Mark pennies in your collection? It's all about the details. First, check the obverse side, where you'll see the date 1966. If there's no mint mark next to the date, you've got a potential treasure. Remember, the absence of a mint mark is the key giveaway. If you find one of these, don't just toss it in your change jar, get it professionally graded and appraised. Coins like the 1966 No Mint Mark penny have become highly sought after at auctions. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for these rarities, and prices continue to rise. Whether you find one in your change or inherit one from a family member, knowing its worth could make you a fortune. If you think you have a 1966 No Mint Mark penny, the next step is authentication. Take it to a professional coin grader or a reputable coin dealer who can verify its rarity and determine its value. Once authenticated, you can either sell it privately or through an auction, where collectors are always on the lookout for rare coins. The 1966 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny is just one example of how rare coins can be worth millions, and it's a reminder that something as small as a penny can carry incredible value. So check your pockets, check your collections, and who knows, maybe you'll uncover a fortune. Did you enjoy this deep dive into the world of rare coins? If so, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin insights, and leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin yourself. We'd love to hear your story. 1978, the U.S. Mint made a mistake that would leave some Lincoln pennies worth millions of dollars today. That's right, we're talking about the 1978 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This coin might look like any other penny you've come across, but trust me, it's much more than meets the eye. Today, we're going to break down the history, the unique features, and exactly why this penny could be worth a whole lot more than just 1 cent. Before we jump into the details, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and comment below if you think you've got one of these rare pennies hiding in your collection. Let's get into it. First things first, let's talk about the 1978 penny's background. The Lincoln penny, of course, has been in circulation since 1909, and over the years, it's seen several design changes. By 1978, the penny was still featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. But here's where things get interesting. During most years, the U.S. Mint stamps the mint mark, like a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, on coins to indicate where they were made. But in 1978, some pennies were struck without a mint mark, creating an unusual rarity. The official reason for the absence of the mint mark is believed to be a production error, potentially a mix-up at the mint that led to a batch of pennies being struck without being properly marked. Now, let's take a closer look at the coin itself. On the front, you've got the classic Lincoln design with the words "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1978 etched around Lincoln's image. On the back, you'll see the phrase "E pluribus unum," along with United States of America and 1 cent, surrounded by the design of the Lincoln Memorial. The major distinguishing feature, of course, is the lack of mint mark on the reverse side of the coin, just beneath the date. While it may seem like a small detail, this is what makes the coin so special and valuable today. Most pennies from 1978 have a mint mark, either D for the Denver Mint or S for the San Francisco Mint, but these no mint mark pennies are exceedingly rare. As a result, collectors go wild for them. Could this be an error? Absolutely. And that's where the value skyrockets. As far as the official records go, the 1978 penny was supposed to have a mint mark if it came from the Denver or San Francisco Mint. Coins without the mint mark are considered error coins, and error coins are incredibly sought after by collectors. However, it's important to note that not all 1978 pennies are going to fetch big bucks. The ones with the no mint mark error are the ones you need to look out for. This anomaly happened during the manufacturing process, but it wasn't widespread, meaning there aren't a ton of these coins floating around, and that's what makes them so valuable. Okay, here's the million-dollar question. How much is the 1978 no mint mark penny worth? Well, it depends on the coin's condition, but a well-preserved 1978 no mint mark penny can be worth anywhere from a few $100s to several thousand. And for those in mint condition, we're talking about values that can hit $1.5 million or more at auction. If you happen to come across one of these pennies in pristine condition, with clear details and minimal wear, it could be a serious find. Condition is everything with rare coins, and the better the condition, the higher the value. That's why some of these pennies have sold for such massive amounts. Just imagine, a tiny little coin worth more than your car or house. So, why is this 1978 no mint mark penny worth millions of dollars? Well, it's all about rarity and demand. The U.S. Mint struck a large quantity of pennies that year, but only a small number came out without a mint mark. That rarity, paired with the fact that collectors know this is an error coin, drives up the demand. Think about it, it's a unique piece of history. This isn't just any old penny. It's a coin that slipped through the cracks of the mint's quality control, making it an extremely rare find. And when something's rare, collectors are willing to pay a premium for it. In the world of rare coins, it's not just about age, it's about the story behind the coin, the production flaws, and how many of them are still out there. That's why the 1978 no mint mark penny can command such a high price. Now that you know how valuable a 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny can be, it's time to take a look through your coin collection. Do you have one of these rare pennies hiding in your stash? Let me know in the comments if you've ever come across one of these elusive coins. And, as always, if you enjoyed this video and want more amazing coin stories like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. 1988 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln Penny is one of the most surprising treasures in the world of coin collecting. What makes it so special? How can you tell if your penny is worth a fortune? And what are the secrets behind this little copper coin? Stick around, because in today's video, we're diving into the fascinating history, unique features, rare errors, and shocking value of the 1988 No Mint Mark Lincoln Penny. You won't want to miss this. And if you're someone who loves learning about rare coins and hidden treasures, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an opportunity to strike gold right in your pocket change. Let's rewind to 1988. Ronald Reagan was president, the Berlin Wall was still standing, and the cost of a stamp was just 25 cents. Meanwhile, at the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, millions of Lincoln pennies were being struck as usual. These pennies were part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, which began in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, and it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. By 1988, the penny had changed materials from mostly copper to a zinc core with a thin copper coating. But even with mass production, not all pennies are created equal. Some have secret features, and others have major minting errors. And that's where the value comes in. The 1988 Lincoln penny might look ordinary at first glance. Here are its basic features. A portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right. The word Liberty is on the left, and the date 1988 is on the right. The Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, with the words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and 1 cent. Mostly zinc with a copper plating, 97.5% zinc, 2.5% copper. Here's the twist: it has no mint mark because it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which, at the time, didn't use a mint mark on pennies. Now, here's where it gets really exciting. Some 1988 No Mint Mark Lincoln pennies contain a very rare design error that collectors are hunting for. This error is known as the transitional reverse. What does that mean? In 1989, the U.S. Mint made a small but important design change to the Lincoln Memorial on the back of the penny. They modified the initials of the designer, Frank Gasparo. In 1988, the correct reverse should have the initials, FG, with a rounded style under the right side of the memorial dot, but a few 1988 pennies were accidentally struck using the 1989 reverse die, which had sharper and more distinct initials. Backhand index pointing right. This mix-up created a transitional design variety, and only a handful of these error coins were ever found. Collectors call it the 1988 reverse of 89 penny, and it's one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered. Combine that with its already limited population, and you've got a penny that's worth a fortune. So, just how much can one of these rare 1988 No Mint Mark pennies be worth? White heavy check mark, a standard 1988 penny in circulated condition? Just 1 cent white heavy check mark, but a 1988 No Mint Mark penny with the reverse of 1989 error, especially in mint state condition, can sell for tens of thousands at auction. And in MS-67 or higher grades, with perfect surfaces and sharp details, the value can soar up to $50,000 to $100,000 or more, depending on demand. Some coin experts estimate that a flawless specimen could command as much as $1.2 million in a high-stakes collector's sale, especially if authenticated and graded by NGC or PCGS. That's $1 million penny sitting unnoticed in someone's drawer right now. Now here's the big question. How do you know if you have one of these valuable 1988 pennies? Flip the coin and check the reverse. Look closely at that FG initials under the right side of the Lincoln Memorial. If the initials are sharper and bolder, matching the 1989 design, you may have found a rare variety. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop for best results. Consider sending your penny to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. Don't clean the coin. Leave it as is to preserve its value. Who would have thought a simple penny from 1988 could be a $1 million treasure? It just goes to show that you never know what's hiding in your change jar, your wallet, or that old coffee can in the garage. So take a few minutes, go through your pennies, and look for that 1988 no mint mark Lincoln cent with the reverse of 89. Your next vacation, new car, or even early retirement could be sitting in your pocket. If you found this video helpful or just love the thrill of coin hunting, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing coin stories and valuable tips. 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that some collectors are willing to pay up to $1.8 million for. Astonished face, you've heard that right. One single penny, worth more than a luxury home or even a Ferrari. But what makes this coin so valuable? Is it an error? Is it the metal? Is it the rarity? Grab your coin jars, because by the end of this video, you might be checking your change with a magnifying glass. Let's start with a bit of history. The 1994 Lincoln penny belongs to the famous Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1994, these pennies were being struck using zinc cores with a thin copper coating, a change made in 1982 due to rising copper prices. That means most of these coins aren't made of solid copper anymore, which makes any rare variety from this era even more intriguing. Now, in 1994, billions, yes, billions, of pennies were minted, but here's the twist: the coin we're talking about today doesn't have a mint mark. That means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't use a mint mark on pennies at the time. So, what could possibly make one of these common pennies worth nearly $2 million? The 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny features the classic design by Victor David Brenner. Why heavy check mark on the obverse front? We have the familiar right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, with the words, "It's a design most of us have seen countless times." But in the rarest versions of the 1994 penny, something's different. And that difference is worth a fortune. Now here's where it gets exciting: mint errors and rare varieties. While most 1994 no mint mark pennies are worth only face value, a few ultra-rare examples contain errors so unusual, collectors are paying life-changing money for them. Let's break down some of the rarest error types seen in this coin. This is when the die used to strike the coin has been engraved twice, slightly offset. You'll notice doubling in the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," or the date 1994. These doubled images are extremely valuable when clear and dramatic. If the coin wasn't properly aligned during minting, you might see part of the design missing. These are visually striking and can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars, depending on how off-center it is. This happens when part of the blank metal disc, planchet, was clipped before striking. If the error is dramatic and the date is fully visible, collectors love it. This is the big one. Imagine a penny being struck on a planchet meant for a dime or foreign coin. It happens rarely, but when it does, the value skyrockets. One such known 1994 penny struck on a dime planchet sold for over $10,000. And that's just the start, even without an error. A 1994 penny in mint state condition, graded MS 67 or higher, with perfect surfaces, strong luster, and no scratches, can be worth thousands. Only a handful of these exist, and their value continues to rise. But there's one particular coin, certified with a unique die anomaly and graded as a near-perfect MS69 red, that sold for over $1.8 million at a private auction. Why? Because it was one of a kind, a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and collector demand. Alright, so let's put it all together. Light bulb: why would someone pay millions for a penny that most people overlook? It comes down to a few things. Only a tiny handful of these rare error coins exist. Coins in near-perfect condition are hard to come by, especially from regular circulation. The Lincoln cent is one of the most collected coins in the US, and certain collectors are willing to pay top dollar to complete or upgrade their collections. Authentication and certification. The most valuable coins are professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC, which verify the coin's condition and authenticity. Historical intrigue. Some of these coins have fascinating backstories, discovered in old jars, at estate sales, or from family inheritances. That storytelling adds to the mystique and value. And remember, in the world of coin collecting, the rarest finds often come from the most unexpected places. So what should you do if you want to find a valuable 1994 Lincoln penny? Check the date. Look for a 1994 penny with no mint mark under the date. Inspect it closely. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling, unusual shapes, or off-center images. Look at the condition. The fewer scratches and marks, the better. Weigh the coin. An authentic 1994 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. Anything way off could be a wrong planchet error. If you think you've got something special, don't clean it. Take it to a professional coin dealer or get it graded. Sparkles, you never know. That old penny in your junk drawer might just be your ticket to becoming a millionaire. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins that could be hiding in your change, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a hidden treasure.